This presentation is brought to you by Brailleiant at Brailleiant.org, where we are bridging the digital divide for the blind. The following is an interview with the National Federation of the Blind, conducted by Brailleiant.org on September 28, 2018. Okay, Chris Whitehead with Taylor Runyon from Brailleiant, and we're here with Rachel Oliveira from the National Federation for the Blind, the NFB in Baltimore. And we just have a few questions for Rachel, if she doesn't mind talking with us for a few minutes.
I don't.
Thank you.
It's of the blind, just so you know.
Oh, yes. National Federation of the Blind. Thank you. And we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for meeting with us. We just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about technology, because that's what Brailleiant is focused on. It's focused on helping the blind and visually impaired acquire technology, because we were at the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind, and one of the questions we asked them was, what was the most critical thing for their students? And they said it was the cost. Cost was, quite a factor in terms of their students once they left the school. So we wanted to ask you a little bit about what kind of technology training you provide. We know you do. You do offer quite a bit of training here, so if you could share with our audience what kind of training you provide here, maybe we can enlighten some people that might need some of your services.
So we don't do a lot of direct end user training.
Okay.
As a membership organization, we do try to make sure that folks have access to information about NFB training centers.
Okay.
Such as the Blinding Colorado Center for the Blind and Louisiana Center for the Blind.
Right.
We do some we do some things like train the trainer events.
Okay.
And mostly that's because our technology staff is fairly small, so we try to bring small groups of people in from time to time that we can educate on different topics, and then they can take that messaging and the information back to the people that they work with on a day-to-day basis. We do some smaller technology boutiques that are primarily informational in nature. So it's not necessarily hands-on training, but we've done things both in person and online to teach people about GPS systems, tactile graphics. I do not remember the entire list.
Yeah, Colorado's Center for the Blind, which is another NFB building, did not offer online courses. Is it true that most people who come in here have no idea what JAWS or NVDA or anything is?
I mean, it really depends on the person. So we get a fair number of people who are newly blinded that want to come tour our International Brailleiant Technology Center or look at the products in our Independence Market. And a lot of them have not experienced a screen reader, or some of them maybe are transitioning from screen magnification as a low vision user to using speech because either their vision changes, or as they get older, they have changes in preferences or needs. And so, some of those folks have never experienced a screen reader like JAWS or NVDA. Other people that come in, depending on the program, are technology trainers, so they're familiar with it. We will just give them new information or new techniques.
Brailleiant is not only focused on technology. We are thinking to start a new program. I have a bunch of old Braille books that I haven't read anymore. And so I'm thinking to provide this Braille books in a store of our website for exchange from blind people to blind people, because there is not really a place for blind people to exchange products.
Well, let me tell you about sharebraille.org. That was true. About 10 years ago, we are working on updating it and relaunching it, because clearly the message is not getting out. But there is a site that has now been taken over by the American Action Fund for Blind Children and Adults called sharebraille.org. And that is a site where anyone can sign up as a user, and they can put a book up that they have available. and another user will look at the list of available books and they'll say, hey, I'd like to read that. So they request it. And then the user who owns the book is given the shipping address and they can send the book free matter to someone else. So the idea is that it sort of functions like a librarian-less library, in that the idea is when you're done with a book, post it on Share Braille if you're not going to necessarily keep it, and someone else can benefit from it. It's kind of like those, they have like
a full-on exchange.
Yeah, and it exists for print books in like different formats where it's kind of like a take a book, leave a book concept. In a physical space, this just takes it to the online world. And that site is actually, it's still online right now. You can go there today and sign up. It's undergoing an upgrade, and we'll be relaunching it and doing a little rebranding and publicizing that in the next couple of months.
Great.
In fact, that is exactly what we are doing with our Brailleiant site. We have been relaunching it with the WordPress platform, using the theme Elementor as our theme.
Yeah, since it's user to user, we encourage folks to use free matter for the blind, so no one has to. You're allowed to ship Braille materials to blind people in the U.S. for free.
Right.
Right.
So in terms of technology, what do you think is really needed by the blind and visually impaired community? What do you think we can help most with?
I think one of the biggest things that we're still not quite getting the message out about is that for developers, accessibility shouldn't be a sidebar. It should be part of the way everybody does business. But that's more of a curriculum and a development message. I mean, I think one of the challenges is still, we've got the Orbit 20, so we have now one, I guess two with there are a couple of Braille displays on the market that are $500 in the $500 range.
Right.
And that has for a long time been one of the biggest challenges, is that getting an affordable Braille display into the hands of blind kids, or really any blind person, has been difficult. I think the next challenge is a multi-line display. And that's something that is still not readily achievable, or hasn't been readily achieved with the current technology. Everything that has been tried either doesn't meet the spacing or dot characteristic requirements of Braille, or speed, that kind of thing.
Are you familiar with the FELIF devices?
I don't know that I am, but until about 2 weeks ago, I was mostly responsible for our information technology programming.
Okay.
I'm getting back up to speed on the the blindness technology as well.
Well, that's all the questions I have. What about you, Taylor? Do you have anything else?
Have you ever heard of the Smart Vision 2 cell phone for blind?
I have not.
So
that does not mean other people on our Access Tech team have, but I have not personally heard of it.
Plus, Rachel deals directly with technology, which is really what we're interested in. So,
sure.
In helping. So if you can kind of spread that word that Brailleiant.org is a new startup organization, but we're definitely here to try and help the blind and visually impaired acquire some of that expensive technology. You still offer the cane-free program?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
I would also like to spread the news to NFB and other people who are trying to make things accessible, and that is that a lot of developers are stopping using just let's say Notepad++ and just typing out code.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to use more of the website developing platform like Wix and WordPress, so next time you want to try to get that message out, you should start to talk to those people. Wix is where you need to target the most. Wix.com is their URL website. That's who you need to target most. WordPress is a little better. I mean, the Divi theme is the most accessible, so I don't think you need to target them as much. But I think you should worry about Wix, because we keep trying to use Wix, and every time we run the accessibility test on Google Chrome, it says 19 errors, and we can't seem to fix all 19 errors with the features that Wix has.
Yeah, WordPress and Drupal both have very active accessibility communities. We have I believe, at least reached out to Wix. We're aware that things like Wix and Squarespace and a lot of the other site, sort of build your site quickly types of services don't present the accessible experience either to the end user or to someone who's trying to create a site. So we have, those are always areas we're trying to work in to improve accessibility for blind people.
Good.
You're right. And also, dragging and dropping should also be another another technique to do that. I mean, right now, a lot of people have this drag and drop mechanism, especially Wix and Squarespace. And I feel like it should be implemented, yes, but there should also be another way of doing it in case you either cannot drag and drop or are using a screen, or in this case, are using a screen reader.
So as long as they implement ARIA properties that add information about what is draggable and what is droppable, at least JAWS and I believe both VoiceOver and NVDA can correctly handle that drag and drop. It's a matter of properly coding the interface so that it actually tells the screen reader, okay, this component is draggable, these are drop regions where it can move to. So for example, in JAWS, you can hit a component, say you want to drag it, and it pulls up a list of droppable regions on the page where you can move it to. And that's usually the missing piece.
I know how to drag and drop a little with VoiceOver, but how do you do it with JAWS? I never understood that.
I don't remember the controls, so it's different if you're doing it in, for example, Windows Explorer versus on the web. The keystrokes are slightly different, and I don't remember how to do it on the web, mostly because I haven't encountered enough sites that have implemented it correctly for it to have been something I do enough and stick in my head. I want to say it's like Control equals or Control Shift equals to, like, you focus on the component and then you hit the keystroke and it brings up a list and says here's where you can drop it, and you pick from the list and press enter. But that's just my memory from reading the help documentation.
I read the help documentation a lot. I mean, some people will just like go to youtube.com and look up video on how do you do this or how do you do that. And so another thing I want to show you is I made 2 videos. And at the moment I can only show you one because I didn't plug it into my Mac and use image capture to import it. But I can only show you one of those. But I made 3 videos on the Brailleiant Apex, and they're mostly basic. I mean, the first video, which was part 1, talked like basically the physical description, and basically I talked about the case and how there's a little compartment where you can open the zipper and put some things in there. I told them how it seemed small, but it really can fit a lot of things. And I explained the Braille display, the spacebar, the 6 dots, keyboard, and I also explained to them the thumb keys.
Once we get them posted on the site, maybe you can send some links to Rachel and she can have a look at them.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
It's a great way to educate people.
Yeah.
And I also showed them about the power switch, and parts 2 and 3 is where we really get at the software. I show them the main menu in part 2, and I show them the options menu. I tried to show them the utilities menu and the date and time set feature in part 3, but my phone ran out of storage, so that did not happen. So if I play it, but which I don't think I will quite yet, you'll hear in part 3 my voice kind of cuts off a little.
We'll have to try it again.
Well, I bet I know what you're asking for Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Rachel, thank you so much for meeting with us and answering our questions and talking about technology for the blind and visually impaired.
Happy to do it.
We really appreciate your time and effort and all the work that you do here at the NFB.
Well, we're happy to meet with you guys, and if we can, be of further assistance, don't hesitate to reach out.
This has been a presentation by Brailleiant at Brailleiant.org, where we are bridging the digital divide for the blind. If you like this video, please click the like button, and for more interesting videos, please subscribe to our channel.